There we
Hello.
are.
There are 19 buttons to push when you do that. I really still don't get it. But anyway, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a busy week. Fine. It was yeah, fun. Had a great birthday. Good to
Yeah.
see you there, Brooke, in the chat, up and Pammy. And yeah. So today you want me to what do you
What?
want to do? You want
Well,
to do
I was thinking we could just go over really quickly what the Dark Night of the Soul is very fast
yeah.
before we introduce our guest. And it's basically just the dark portion of the Great Awakening. So this idea that people are waking up, mass consciousness, and connecting more to God, kind of the fracturing of the ego that allows you that growth. But it is a very dark time, as the name says, and it's very trying, very difficult. And so we are trying to help people connect with each other's stories, because a lot of these stories are very similar. And once you hear other people talking about their experiences, it makes it maybe a little bit easier to be going through it yourself. So why don't you introduce our guest?
Yes, so today we have Elisa Herrera. She has a channel herself on YouTube, Quantum Healing of the Soul. And clearly, she got through her own dark night of the soul. She went through her own dark night of the soul and got out of it. So, yeah, today we're going to hear her story. So, let's bring her in.
Hello.
There is Elisa. Hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic. Excited to it's always so much fun and high vibration when you talk to other people that know what believe the same things and have gone through the same things that you have gone through. So I'm very excited about it.
For
Right.
sure. It makes a world of difference to connect in that way, because it is I mean, being a human in general is just a very lonely experience, right?
Yeah, it is. So you came as well from your own dark night of the soul. I mean, we've known each other for quite a long time now. Um,
How long
yeah,
have you guys known each other?
a little bit. A bit. Know you a little bit longer than Elisa, but yeah, it was also around. I think in the first year that I got my channel, and yeah, I saw her channel. Actually, she worked together with somebody else. That's how I met her. Then I had her on my channel, and yeah, we spoke a lot about things like the Dark Night of the Soul as well. And yeah, at those time we all went through it. Eh?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I do think it is getting exponentially more common. And yeah, the fact that we kind of all went through it around the same time. Obviously, it's like popcorn. All the popcorn is getting hot, and like, pop they start off very few and far between, and then all of a sudden it's like pop 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 pop, and then you'll have the late poppers also. But we're really in that 2 minute and 30-second mark in the microwave.
Right,
Which is
right.
not how you should make your popcorn, by the way.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's what was the catalyst for you in your experience? And was it, did you start waking up first and then experience kind of the dark night portion of it, or how did that work for you?
Well, it was very interesting for me because I had read Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss back when I was
Yeah.
23. And I was enthralled with it. And somehow, some way, I just kept on with my life, didn't really do anything. Nothing happened with it until I had been married for, I'm going to say, about 15 years or so. And I was reading People magazine. Back in the day, I would read People magazine. And People magazine would tell you these books to read. And there was this book called the Afterlife of Billy Fingers, and in which this actress whose brother died, and who she contacted a medium, and the medium was telling her what her brother had gone through, what he was going through, what he was doing at the time, while he's in spirit. And I finished that book like in a day, and then I wanted to have another book. And back in the day, that Kindle was really slow, so I ended up buying a different book that I wanted to buy, and I'm like, oh my God, I just wasted my money, blah blah blah. Let me see what this book is about. Well, it was the book from Elisa Medes, whose son had shot himself at 21 years old, and she had contacted a medium, and so the story was all before he died, how he went through the death and after the death, and how he's here to help humanity in the spirit. So in her book, she had the Facebook link. So I go to the link, and throughout the days, people started posting about Dolores Cannon. And I'm like, let me check this woman out. And Bashar, Dolores Cannon and Bashar. So I checked Dolores Cannon out, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to have a QHHT session. So I fall in love with the whole thing, and I decide I'm going to do this because I had tried to be a medium. And being a medium is really hard if you're not born with those gifts, and you have to, go and develop them. So and being an engineer myself, I was more left brain. And so QHHT was more of like a engineering type thing, where you're kind of, going through the roadblocks of the person and trying to get around. So it was perfect for me. And so
it's interesting because all three of us are hypnotherapists.
That is interesting.
That is super interesting. So then I started learning about Alba Weinman, and then she did it different. So I started kind of incorporating her stuff. Then BQH came along, and was created. And then I took classes with Alba and Antonio, and then kind of made my own thing with the Pleiadians. And anyway, so this whole time, I'm going to say I went through maybe 6 years of everything just hunky-dory. Everything was perfect. But when I started doing QHHT, I had to have people over to my house. And my husband was like, no, I don't want strangers in my house. I don't want people coming to my house. And I was like, oh, well, it's time to part ways, because I have to help humanity. And, it's not going to work. And of course, there were things behind the scenes going on also for many years that, we were together for the kids or whatever. But this was the one thing that I wasn't willing to stay for, and so I knew I had to do it. So that was, like the first time that I really went through, going through the divorce was a little bit of a dark night of the soul itself, because what my dark night of the soul centers around is self-worth and fear, just lots of fear. And so going through that, and a book came into my life by somebody who I don't follow because she's really harsh, but this book really helped me. So Teal Swan wrote a book, Shadows Before Dawn, and she was a sex slave, and she explains how she came to love herself. And the last part of the book are these exercises. And this is where I started doing the exercises. And the first question on those exercises was, if you love yourself, would you do X? So I started asking myself, if I love myself, would I be in a marriage where I'm not happy? And the answer was no. If I would love myself, would I be in a job that I hate? And the answer was no. So we started asking this question of everything that I was doing, and slowly starting loving myself and really getting over the fear of, how am I going to survive? How am I going to pay the bills? All that stuff. But while you're going through it, you are having panic attacks. You are thinking, how am I going to do this? But it's like this, I have to do it. This is something I have to do. So like you put on that bravery, that strength comes through and you jump that hurdle. And once I jumped that hurdle and I moved on my own, I thought I was like, okay, I got over it, blah, blah, blah. So this time I started getting depressed that I had broken up the family because we did everything together with my kids and us. We would golf every weekend together. We would go to see his family, of 30 people together every weekend. So I broke up the family and I started getting really depressed. And that's when I was like, this is not worth it. I think I'm going to kill myself. And I remember walking towards my car because I was just going to turn it on in the garage and just let the carbon monoxide do the work. And I'm just crying and really upset, being alone for the first time in how many years? I was married for 18 years. So
you were divorced by this time? You were divorced okay.
Yeah. So I got divorced and I moved to a new house. And this house was, very big, 4 bedrooms. And here I am. My kids would only come every 2 weeks and I was all alone. And oh my God, it was horrific. And I just couldn't deal with it. And on my way to like getting in the car and doing it. And it was like, no, you have kids. What kind of example is this? No. So I kind of reeled myself back. And again, it's pulling on that strength that you have to ask the angels. Angels will not help you unless you ask for help. So, I'm asking the angels to help me. I'm asking for God to help me. And the strength came in and I started seeing things in a different way. And I swear to God, they were the ones who helped me for sure. They were the ones who helped me. So, so what happened after that?
I remember your big leap. Well, first it was the house, and then there was another big leap where you got a giant camper.
Yes.
Remember?
So COVID came along and I am not one to be told what to do. So I said, oh, I'm not staying in my house. Screw that. So I went and decided to get an RV, a huge camper, 28-foot camper. And here's this 5'4" little girl driving this camper out of the camping location, where they sold it to me. And I'm having a panic attack. Like, what am I doing? This car is triple the size of any other car on the road. And here I am driving it, like nothing. And it was just like, I'm crazy. I swear to God, I'm crazy. But again, another panic attack that I had to go through and just really tell myself, I have to do this. Hey, Kathy. So, oh my God. So I finally, said, you've done much harder things than this. You can do this. And of course, I called on the angels again. And usually when I call them within 5 minutes, I'm good. It's like it calms me down. It puts me in a good place. And
I need your number. I need your direct number. You could just text that to me. That'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, your guides and your angels are there to help you. It's amazing what they can do. And I made it home, and while everybody's in COVID in their homes doing nothing, I'm outside camping with the deer and just having the best time. But that was a very big part of, that's when the really dark night of the soul, well, the trying to kill myself, but the RV and being alone, just the silence was piercing. It was like piercing. It was like, so you have to kind of look at yourself. Like, you have no choice. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, plus the contrast of, first living in a big house together with your husband, children, to, being completely alone, and then getting an RV and start getting on the road and do your hypnosis session with clients on the road. I mean, I was like, how did you do that? And because it felt like it was obviously effortless. I know it wasn't because you told me about it, but it's you just went so quickly, you shifted into that change. And I don't know how you did that.
Well, it's amazing to me because, I mean, so many people, probably all people, have been through a very dark time. And one of the strings that kind of runs through a lot of this is that existential feeling of I can't be here anymore, right? And there is a big difference between I don't want to be here and actually thinking about how you're going to do it, or taking the steps to do it. And that's such a dark place, but to look at you now and to see this like beaming light of a person and all smiles, and I hope people see that and recognize that when they are in that place, that is the darkest place that I imagine any human being could be. Not only thinking I don't want to be here, but literally thinking about taking the steps to do something about that. And you are proof that there is another side, that's not, that you can get through that, not just get through it, not just like, muddle through life, but to actually thrive at the end of it and be a happy, vibrant person, probably more so than you ever were before.
Well, I'll tell you what I've learned through all these dark night of the souls, because they all come in pieces. And what I've noticed is that when you step through that fear, magic appears. And it's almost, I always explained it that, we live in a simulation, right? And so it's a video game of, I'm going to come here and learn these lessons and grow my soul. And what I noticed is it's exactly like a video game. In a video game, if you get to level 1, right before level 2, it gets really, really hard, like really, really hard. Yeah. But then you get to level 2 and it opens and you're like, oh my God, look at this. Look at all this new stuff. And so you're like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then the next dark night of the soul comes along where you have to face your fears again. And when you step through those fears, another level goes up and you're like, what? Oh my God, this is amazing. So what I've noticed is the more I face my fears, the more magical life becomes. It really, really does. And so it's all about just making it through that panic attack, and just just making it through and knowing that what's on the other side is so magical that it was so worth it to go through those panic attacks. So worth it.
Patricia and I last time talked about the surrender, and that really is an important element of it, we're clinging to this old paradigm. That's part of why it hurts so much and why it's so hard. And I suffer from panic attacks, and actually haven't in a really long time, thank goodness. My mom also did. And I remember my mom telling me that one of the things that kind of induces it, or one of the parts of the initial phase of the panic attack, is feeling like I'm going to start crying, I'm going to start screaming, I'm going to die in front of everyone, like this feeling of just all these thoughts that flood in your head of all these things that can go wrong. And how she learned to shut those voices up were to say, okay, fine, I'm going to cry, I'm going to fall on the ground, I'm going to, whatever it was that was going through her head, to give into it and say, and then once you realize, okay, I've surrendered to that, now it doesn't actually have any power on me, over me. I'm not crying, I'm not dying, I'm not peeing my pants in front of, the whole mall. So that giving in is really what I think, that surrender is what probably pushes you through finally to get to that level 2, level 3.
Yeah, it's a couple of things. It's not only surrender, but it's trusting that your higher self knows better than you. Your higher self knows what it knows what you need to go through to grow your soul, and you have to trust that what's happening to you is supposed to happen because it's being directed by your higher self. So you have to trust that. You have to trust that you know more. Your higher self knows more. It just knows more than you do. And you're flying blind here. When you put your trust on your higher self, you glide and you surrender and you start getting into that flow. But it's funny because these dark nights of the soul are those rocks in the stream where you're like, damn, and then you hit and you bounce and you get back on the river, and then you hit a rock and then you get back,
Isn't it funny how we look at the positive things in our lives and we say, oh, this is so meant to be? Like the really wonderful things, like falling in love, for example, everything aligns and it feels like, oh my gosh, this was meant to be. We were, think of the odds of us even meeting each other, but we never look at the hardships as also meant to be. Like you were saying, that those are the things that are necessary. These are the things that come into your life for a reason. We'll only recognize the positive ones. And we never look at the rough parts and say, oh God, this is the universe aligning for me.
Right.
Absolutely.
So didn't you have a time also? I remember there was obviously the time with your children and then the vaccines, but also wasn't there broken into your RV or?
Yeah, so selling the house, I had 3 panic attacks. I knew I had to sell the house because my ex-husband, who I had not talked to in 6 months, calls me out of the blue and he goes, you should sell your house. And I'm like, oh, that's the next step here. And I'm panicking, right? Because here I am, a single woman. I've never sold a house. It's always been with my husband. And I'm freaking out. I'm having panic attacks. I called the realtor 3 times. No, cancel. Then I would call her, no, keep put it back on 3 times on that day. And so I finally calm myself down. I go to meditate and I drive down the road to this place where you park and then you walk to the water and you can meditate there. And all of a sudden my phone, maybe 20 minutes into it, I feel my phone just vibrating. And I'm like, oh crap. What's going on? So I look at my phone and he goes, you made a purchase at Walmart for $2,000. Was that you? You made a purchase here, blah, blah, blah. Was that you? And I was like, ah, and I'm running to my car, running. And I get there and the car had been smashed. The window on the side had been smashed. Somebody took my purse, $350 cash and all my credit cards. My heart was going to come out of my mouth. It was like, and then I heard in my head, where do you think all that pent up energy from your panic attacks was supposed to go?
Interesting.
Yep. And I just heard it like, boom, like I was like, and I calmed down. As soon as I heard that, I completely calmed down. I was like, oh shit, it's my fault.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, it was horrific. The feeling, just the feeling of it. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me to, when my mind is playing games with me to create a panic attack, I need to rein in the mind and say, stop. I've always been taken care of. Everything always works out for me. Everything is okay. It's going to work out. So it's all these little lessons that have been thrown my way where, after that happened, it's like, forget panic attacks. I'm never having a panic attack again, but funny enough, the next panic attack happened when I went to the south of France last year to do a Mary Magdalene tour with some friends. And on the way to France, to Barcelona, because I went to Barcelona and grabbed a car and drove to France. All of a sudden in the airplane, I start shaking. Like I wake up and my body's shaking and I can't control it, like having a seizure. And I'm like, what's happening? And I'm shaking. They took me to the back of the airplane to calm me down.
Wow.
I can't control it. This is the first time in my life I can't control something. And it was freaky. It was really freaky.
But did you
And
know where it came from?
nope, I did
Just
not.
out of the blue.
Out of the blue, I wake up and I'm shaking. And so what had happened, so you have context, I was having health issues. And since I left my job, which was another panic attack I forgot about, I don't have health insurance. So my mind started going, well, if you have tingly hands, and that could be you could be diabetic, and if you have diabetes, then you need insulin, and you don't have health insurance. You're gonna, you're gonna die, like, and the mind's just blah 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 blah. And I didn't know that this was subconscious. I find this about this later on. So I have this panic attack, right? And finally, by the time we landed, I'm somewhat little shaky, but I can move, I can take my stuff, and I'm questioning myself, like, what's happening? I get in the car, and the next day I start driving to France, and I start getting the same thing, but driving in the
Oh
middle
no.
of Barcelona to France. I'm driving and I can't control my arms. I can't control my legs. And I was like, okay, well, these are my options. I can either pull to the side of the road, and then somebody who's going to come help me. Nobody's going to know I'm having issues. And then what are the girls going to do? This is the car they're going to use to drive around. So they're stuck. And what are you going to do? And I'm like, you're going to calm your ass down. Well, that's what you're going to do.
Yes.
So I literally will myself to just shake less so I could drive. And believe it or not, I made it to the end, but it was like it would calm down and then it would come back up, and I'm like, no. It would just come back. Anyway, I made it to the place. So the girls, I'm like, yeah, I had this issue. I'm shaking, blah, blah, blah. I'll be fine tomorrow. Morning comes. Here it is again. And I'm shaking and I can't control. It's like having a seizure. I can't control it. Luckily, this time I'm with my friends, and one of them is a psychic. And I had laid on the grass because I figured I needed to ground. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. She comes and she lifts me up and holds me like this from the back. And she's just holding me, calming me down. And she's like, your mind is running you. Your mind is running you. And while this is happening, I hear, like, do you want to live or do you want to die? Like, I heard this voice, like, you need to make a decision right now. You're either going to live or you're going to die. Do you decide? And of course, all these birds start like flying around on top of me. And it was just like, and I'm just looking at them and thinking of my daughter and my kids, my sons. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to pull through this, whatever. And when she put her hands on me, she's like, your mind is boiling. I can feel it. It's boiling. And I could feel the pressure right here of my mind just over, and she's like, you got to let your heart lead. Your heart has to lead. And I literally had to go through a kind of a little ritual myself where I told my mind, I need you to let go. The heart is leading now. The heart is in charge. Let go. Let go. And slowly but surely, my friend was able to calm me down, and she was, doing this, to taking all the energy off of me. It wasn't until 5 p.m. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. that I was able to calm down, and we were able to do something that day. So the next day I wake up and the shakes are back. They're not where I have to lay down. I can just sit at the table and I have another conversation with her. And I was able to calm myself down, and we were able to do something past noon. And slowly but surely, I started getting that strength that I had before, of like the angels, and then talking to the mind and making the mind understand, you don't have diabetes, you like, calm down, like, and so by the third day, I was kind of almost back to normal. I would say back to normal. But that dark night of the soul was like nothing I've ever experienced before. And what I have to tell you is, do not allow the mind to to take control of your life, because it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. If you go with your heart every step of the way, the heart will never ever harm you. The heart will never ever give you negative thoughts. The heart will never ever put you in a situation where you're in danger or where you're never.
But do you have then the fear that for a next, because this is how it works for me usually, then I'm so fearful of the next panic attack, and I know it's in the head, but I'm already constantly focused on the next panic attack that may happen. And of course you have to go into the heart, but to me a panic attack is such a terror, a feeling of terror so badly. I don't know if there's different gradations of panic attacks, because for me it feels like, yeah, I'm dying, and I'm going crazy, and there is an extreme terror, a feeling of terror that just overwhelms me. So I wonder if that was the case for you as well, that because 3 days is a lot. I had it weeks on end in Mexico. So but I did get to a point, because after weeks you get so exhausted that you do get to a point of surrender, because you're like, it doesn't matter anymore, because tomorrow it's going to happen again. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter anymore. I may as well just, let it come and see. And that actually got me kind of through it. However, if you have it like 3 days, then yeah, that wouldn't be enough for me to surrender, because then I'm a stubborn one, right? So I wonder how that was for you when you had the first one. So
Yeah,
did you?
I had to come to terms with the fact that it's okay to die. That's the first one.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
there is a being scared of dying, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
okay, if I die, hey, I traveled to everywhere I wanted to. I've achieved everything I wanted to. It's okay. I can die. The second one was, again, your higher self knows better. Let
Mm.
go of the reins. You're trying to control. You gotta let it go. You gotta keep saying, I trust my higher self. I trust my higher self. I trust my higher self. Whatever needs to happen will
Right.
happen. It is just a matter of letting go and trusting your higher self. It's really where I'm at now. I'm okay to die. And if it happens that I have it, what I've noticed is, now that I'm in the magical place of the universe where everything is perfect for me in my life, it's beautiful. Everything always works out. Every single time. Everything
So
always works out.
So how did you have these fears as well? Because before you went to France, I remember you went to Thailand, to Indonesia, to Australia. So in that period of time, did you had any panic attacks as well, or were you just traveling
I was
without any?
traveling, and yeah, I didn't have the health issues that I had when I was doing
Right,
that travel. It was the health issues that really freaked me out, because I had no health insurance.
Mm.
right,
So then you're thinking, oh my God, the bills, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Okay, hello, this is a simulation. If you need a doctor, some angel will magically form into a doctor and come save me out of the blue. And this has been proven, I'm going to tell you, with my son, who has no health insurance. We go see a doctor that was, special name. No, you got to go here. Okay, we got to go there. We go to this doctor. And she's like, oh, you can't pay? No problem. We have a charity, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to pay.
wow,
And we were
yeah.
like,
Wow.
what?
You-
So magic happens. I'm telling you, if you trust, if right now I was told I have the word, I'm not going to say it, and I need whatever to inject, whatever, I'm like, it'll be taken care of. And if it doesn't, goodbye world. I had a great time. you know?
Right. Yeah,
It's
that's
just,
total surrender.
Yeah, I love that when the surrender comes, it's not just like, okay, I'm okay on the other side. What you're saying is there is magic there. And I know exactly what you're saying because I've experienced that too. But like maybe for somebody who hasn't been through that before, would you describe it as everything just aligning exactly like better than you could have imagined, right? Is that kind of what you mean by magic? Stuff that you couldn't even, if you were writing a book about the situation, you couldn't have even fathomed this.
yeah, absolutely. Like, an example of that is, I had something in mind to when I had to move out of my house, and it was 2 weeks, and I had not found any place to move to buy any house or to rent or anything. And I literally closed my laptop and I said, "Universe, I'm done. It's in your hands. You figure it out." 2 days later, my stepdad calls me and he goes, "Hey, my best friend has some property at the beach. Are you interested?" And I'm like, he goes, "One of the apartments is by a place called Cherry Down Park, which is the park I went to every single week to the beach from Orlando." When he said the words, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's for me. That's for me." And all I had told the universe was I want everything brand new, and and the same about the same price that I pay now. That was it. And when I allowed when I surrendered and let the universe guide me, it gave me the most beautiful apartment. I go see the sunrise every morning. My life is magic because I surrendered. It wasn't like, no, I gotta find an apartment. No, it was like, I'm done. I'm done. It's you figure it out. You figure it out.
What are some of the things like of your personality? So obviously your situation is beautiful and aligned and everything, but what about some of the things about your personality? Do you look back on who you were before all of these experiences and kind of see
Oh my
why
God.
some of that had to be broken out of you?
So I was a control freak. I was a Virgo. And so, and I was a Virgo, I'm not anymore. So I've become my ascending sign, which is Pisces. So I was a Virgo. I was a control freak of sorts. I was a project manager. So even my job was controlling things. So the first time I got hit in the head about control was ayahuasca experience where I thought I was dying of a heart attack. And I asked the plant, "Why are you doing this to me?" And the plant goes, "Because you won't let go of control." I was like, "Oh, okay. Okay." So I let go, right? I let go and I'm like, "Okay, kill me." I'm like, I'm ready to die. and, and it went away. The pain went away. It disappeared.
Oh my
It
gosh.
just went away. So anyway, it's been a constant, you know, let go of control, let go of control, let go of control, let go of control. And so the old Elisa was really frugal with money, was really controlling of everything, planner, control freak. Um, I've healed some of my wounds, my self-worth wounds. Um, I have, I feel like the last one that I was working through was related to money and really jumping off the cliff and trusting that what I have will get me through the rest of my life. Where if you were to look at the bank account, you'd be like, hell no. But I'm not looking at the bank account, right? I'm looking at the fact that abundance is within me. It resides within me. And the magic of the universe will get me through. And so now I've even jumped to that level. I've leveled up on that fear. And now I live as if I have it all. And if you live every day like you're going to die tomorrow, your perspective changes. And I would have to say fear kind of dissolves. No more panic attacks. If I'm dying tomorrow, who gives a shit? Like, so that's also been something that has changed my life. When I had a job I started telling myself, this is slavery. And if I die tomorrow, I want to die here sitting under these lights and being, dealing with people that aren't doing their job. Like, what am I doing? Like, forget
Right.
it. I have money in the bank that I had saved from 25 years of corporate America. So I was like, you know what? The now moment is all that matters and it's all that exists. So I have enough money that I can go raise my vibration. And then at that vibration, more money will come in, right? Because it's about being in that level. You gotta feel rich enough that you're at the level where all that exists. And I knew I had to get there. And I knew I wasn't going to get there with a slavery job. I just knew.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that in the first place. I mean, because yeah, we talked a lot when I went through mine, and for me, everything was in. Yeah, I surrender a little bit, and then it was slash again, and then surrender a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and you went just through it, and you were like, just let go, and I'm like, I can't. Because I'm a control freak too and a perfectionist, and
Yep.
it's but then from a young age, I felt like I needed to control my life because otherwise I would die. That's how it felt, obviously.
Right.
It was pure survival mode my whole life, and so that's a real hard habit to let go of, but you did help me a lot of times. That one day I walked into the door and I was like, what the heck did just happened? And I remember that you were saying to me, well, ask yourself, why was that door in the way? And I was like, wait, what? And then I was actually thinking, well, because you pointed me to that, it's because you're not in the now moment. You're constantly like a headless chicken walking around, and so I didn't even see the door, right? So I would just bump into it, and so we had these talks about it. And I remember you going on holiday as well, and you said, I always have the short line, when you have to stand in the queue for security and all that stuff. And it was crazy. I remember it was around the time that I went to Mexico as well, I believe. And it was crazy times at the airport at the time. And you were like, I always have the fastest queue. And I'm like, how? Right? And so when I went to Mexico, I applied a bit of Elisa, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go there to the airport, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be within 5 minutes at the airplane when I get there. There were rows where people had to wait for 5 hours long. It was that bad, and I got like special assistance, and within 5 minutes I was at the airplane.
Oh,
Of me coming into the airport, within it took 10 minutes, I was at my airplane, and I had like a sea of time to spend in the airport all by myself. But yeah, I didn't have to wait in long lines and queues. But I learned that from you, Elisa, because you were relentless when it came to that. And the same that you said, I'm just going to travel. That's what I want. That's what's going to make me happy. And you freaking traveled all over the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, knowing how the simulation works helps a lot. Knowing that you program the matrix by what you say. You program the matrix by intention, right? So when you program, and that's the thing, that as your vibration gets higher and higher in this level of vibration, you manifest a lot faster. And so even more, and I'm using the intention thing, because before I would forget, and now I do it more and more because I notice it so quickly that it's creating that reality. And so that's also been a big part of things, is understanding how the simulation works and how to program it. And so your thoughts and beliefs, right, are going to create it, and so is your vibration. So if you have a low vibration, if you're running frantic to the airport, guess what? More frantic energy is going to come to you. Therefore, you're going to have to wait in line
Yeah.
to be more frantic. So whatever you're putting out is what you're going to get back. So that's also been a big deal for me in changing who I am as a human being. So no, I'm not the Elisa I was a week ago. I swear to God, you change so much, so much.
It is kind of like whatever you are expecting tends to happen. And I know people like these things happen in their lives. Even one of these instances would be so crazy and would never happen to anyone. And yet these things happen to them all the time. It's just because like either they're expecting the worst or they're expecting the best. I've seen both sides of that. Obviously, Elisa, you are an example now of expecting the best and having that come into your life. But that the opposite also happens where somebody is just like, they're just like Pigpen with the cloud of dust and the flies around them because that energy is just gravitating towards them. You mentioned something about ayahuasca, and this is kind of a side road, but I'm always so fascinated by ayahuasca. I've never done it before, but I know that people have these breakthroughs with it. Do you remember everything that you experience and learn during that time?
Not everything, but I think most everything. Yeah. I mean, it's not comfortable. It's not meant to be comfortable. It's just not meant to be comfortable at all. What was important about the ayahuasca?
Well, you had said that you asked the plant, "Why is this happening to me?" And you got the message because you're not letting go or whatever. My fear is I would do something like that, put myself through the experience of because I'd be terrified to do it, and then I would have these amazing epiphanies, and then be like, "Wait, what was that?" Because like not remember it because the only thing I have to relate it to is smoking pot, where I never remember things, so
no, it's not like that at all. Actually, I saw, I'm being an engineer. I was always very left brain. I was not creative at all. And I saw the most beautiful, and you see like neon colors, really bright neon colors. And what I saw was like a bear that turned into like a bee, into a building, and turned into the ocean. And so what I learned from that was, number one, I am creative and it's within me. And number two, that everything is everything is itself. So the building is the same as a bear. A bear's the same as a bee. There's no difference. It's just what you're seeing in your simulation, in your reality, that makes it look real. And then the second time was interesting. The second time was really hard because I couldn't throw up and I didn't have diarrhea. Like it wouldn't come out either way. It was like blocked or something. So I had to be there for a while, and it was pure pain for the whole time, except at the end when everybody left, I had to stay in a couch because I couldn't move. And I saw this amazing view, and I think, Patricia, I've told you about this, didn't I? Where I saw a wall of ETs, like different ETs, like different, almost like a conference, and the ETs are all sitting watching me, and I'm here and I'm directing them. And then this ship goes in between me and the wall of different, I'm going to say different nations of ETs, like the Syrians and the Andromedans and the blah, blah, blah. And they're all like this. And I'm directing them. And then a ship comes in and it says, the commander has been activated. We can start level 1 or something to that effect. So that's when a lot of things that I had been told through the sessions that I was a commander of some kind was confirmed. So that was huge for me because, they call you commander with it, in a session, and I would always say, thank you for all the information you've provided us after the session. And I would hear, thank you, commander. And I was like, huh? So I never really kind of wasn't sure. But after seeing that with the ayahuasca, it was like worth all the pain I went through. That was so worth all the pain I went through, So it's good and it's bad.
I can see that. It's interesting, the whole left brain thing and not being creative like that. I can so relate to that. And that's part of the reason why I was aware that some of these weird things that I was experiencing, they weren't my imagination, because my imagination doesn't work like that. I'm not super visual in my imagination. Like if you told me to draw a weird creature, I would probably draw something that I saw in Star Wars. I wouldn't be able
Right.
to make something up like that.
Exactly. Me
But
too.
these things were so clear, they were so vivid, and every detail of them was, there was nothing missing. And that's not how my brain works typically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is your ayahuasca, what you describe. It sounds a lot like the DMT experience, which is also, by the way, changa, which is with the ayahuasca. And I had only a drop because I couldn't take that because I had taken medications, which doesn't go together.
Oh,
It
yes.
but a friend of mine did take it, and well, obviously they saw all these colors and stuff, but they definitely did some traveling there, and one said literally, I died, and I did a rebirth. I actually died. And they see all sorts of colors. It's just taking only 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. So with the ayahuasca, obviously it takes hours and hours. I wouldn't even start with it. I mean, I would be too scared, because if I would go into panic, I wouldn't get out of it for
Yeah.
myself, because my head just goes with it, right? And so I know it's not for everybody, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for
it definitely
sure. Well,
isn't.
the mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms can kind of have a little bit of a similar effect.
Right.
I mean, I learned so much through them. That was I had a lot of teachers through this journey, and the mushroom was one of them. The golden teacher mushroom taught me so much. Um, so the golden teacher, Bashar, and my mentor Octavia, those are the three reasons why I've achieved this life, in addition to my intuition and getting messages, of course, and
Right.
jumping the cliff, right? Because you can have teachers all you want, but if you don't jump the cliff, you get nowhere. And I talked to Bashar. I got to ask a question one time with Bashar, and the first thing I said before my question is, thank you so much, I'm here because of you. And he said, no, you're here because of you, because
Yeah.
you took the steps to get to where you are. So you got to
Right.
take action. You got to take action. It's not going to come to you for free. I used to be like, oh, it's going to happen. No, you got to take action.
You
Yeah.
do, yeah. I'm still way too careful in a sense, but then again, I did come a long way, but then didn't we all? Um, yeah.
No,
So
well, I mean, really not everybody does. There are people, I think, on this planet, and maybe it's just a choice, maybe they're just not here to do as much work, but not everybody has these um massive shifts in their personality, they're crushing their ego, all of this growth. And some people don't start off with as many obstacles, right? Some people kind of
right.
just stay pretty much the same. I do know some of those people, but I feel like I know less and less of those people all the time. I feel like even people that had it pretty easy their life, I'm watching them now go through things that they're just like, this doesn't happen to me. And it is the choice to be like, okay, well, am I going to be a victim of this? Or am I, like Elisa said, going to make the choice
Right.
to actually do the work? Because the answers, they don't necessarily have to come from ayahuasca or mushrooms or spirit guides or
Mhm.
even a friend. A lot of the times we have the answers already. We know some of the things that we need to work on, the things that we need to do. Like you were saying, asking yourself, if I loved myself, would I be doing this? If I love myself, would I be sitting on the couch? If I love myself, would I be eating this, drinking this, smoking this? All of those questions, we know the answers to those. We don't need some mystic thing to come down and tell us. And really, those little things make a very big difference in changing our vibration, which sounds like a woo woo thing, because I know a lot of people fight stuff like that because there's like this stigma around some of these terms and talking about vibration and talking about your higher self. These are just terms that basically every spirituality, religion, there are things that relate to them. It's just semantics, right? It's just, this is how I relate to this. Some people see these as angels. Some people see this as, being blessed. People pray over their food. Well, maybe there's something to that, and the intention and the vibration of your words, which we know even has there's scientific evidence of the words that we speak having an impact on our environment, on changing water molecules, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's also that, you see these people that had an NDE, like a near death
Mm-hmm.
experience, and all of a sudden they get out on the other side and their whole freaking life is different.
Yeah.
And they look at everything differently. And I sometimes think I wish I had a near death experience. But then again, that's not my path, right? My path is to go
Right.
through it step by step and do it the way that, well, I'm supposed to do, I guess. So it is different for everybody.
Yeah, it
Right.
is. But I want you, Patricia, and I push you,
Yes.
right? So from now on, I want you to think, what if I died tomorrow? Would you
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing, Patricia?
I always think if somebody said, "What if you die tomorrow?" I'm like, "Oh, finally, I'm gone."
Well, what if
So,
you had to start all over again with the same problems?
right.
Yeah,
Well, depends,
exactly.
right? I mean, if it wasn't by choice, if I've been run over by a bus, it was my choice to die. But then, it's over with, and so you can say, "Oh, thank God, I got over that one." But yeah, if you do it yourself, I think that's a whole different matter.
Yeah, but again, if for me, that's the choice I make every day. Is like if I have a choice to make today, I don't know, should I book a trip to whatever? This comes to me, the universe brings something to me, and it's like, oh my God, that's going to be $10,000. And I'm like, well, if I died tomorrow, I would do it. So screw it, let's go. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about decisions that you make every day. If you're in a job that you hate,
Right.
if you died tomorrow, is that where you wish you were? Is that where
Right.
it's about asking yourself, like, are you doing every day what you're supposed to be doing, that brings
Right.
you the most joy? Are you doing what brings you the most joy? And if, like Bashar says, your highest excitement all the time, all the time, all the time.
Right.
And maybe
So
the key to the recipe is like, you have to trust that. Because I mean, there's a part of me that's like, okay, well, I could go out there and live my bliss, but at the same time, there's the reality of paying bills and taking care of my kid and all of that stuff. So that fear sets in, and it's like, okay, well, am I being irresponsible? I mean, that's what holds people back from. Is there a
It's
balance between what?
That's all the mind. That's all the mind. The mind is the one that comes in and goes, oh, the bills and the blood. You think the heart's going to say no? The heart's going to be like, go, 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 right? And the mind is like, oh, no, the kids and the bill, that's irresponsible. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And so the mind is the one that always keeps you in your comfortable space, that there is no
yes.
magic in that space. Like the magic literally sits outside of that box. It does.
Right.
And the universe isn't going to get you the next step until you show it you're willing to take the next step. For me, I was told to do part-time, my corporate job part-time, which usually corporate America doesn't get part-time jobs, but they told me do it, and I did, and it worked. So I was like, so I showed the universe, I'm ready. I'm taking this
Right.
big step. And granted, I was having panic attacks when I did it, but I was like, no, I gotta show the universe, let's go. Show me something else. Show me something different. Let's go.
Right.
So yeah.
It's the same with your insurance that you didn't have, and so you like Kate is saying, I've got bills, I've got a son, and this and that. The same way that you said, I don't have a health insurance. Oh my God, what if? Right? The what ifs are the biggest, screw ups for us, because that messes with your mind all the time. The what
Yeah.
ifs, right?
Well, it is the mind that's doing the what if. That's the
Right.
mind,
Yeah.
for sure. Your intuition
Yeah, but
says jump. Your intuition says go for it. Your intuition says go to blah, blah, blah. Antarctica is the last one that came to me. Go to Antarctica. And the mind goes, oh, well, it's really
Cold.
cold there. And it's, it's 4 flights to get there. And it's blah, blah, and the mind just blah, 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 blah. It's like, stop it. Stop it.
When you did you have this experience in Bali as well, where you did in the last day, and then you had this big breakthrough in Bali, Indonesia?
Oh yeah, when I went to the waterfalls. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was big. Yeah. Yeah. And again, that was the universe, It takes me to this place. This is a funny story. It gets me to this place. And in Puerto Rico, I grew up in Puerto Rico, all the waterfalls are free. You drive there, you get down, you go into the waterfall. It's free, free. So I'm being sent to this place that was in Facebook that I had saved. And I tell the guy, send me here. So he takes me there and I get there and it's like $30, the minimum. The cheapest thing was $30 for this whatever clearing purification process. I'm like, $30? Are you kidding me? Blah, 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 blah. And of course, not trusting, the universe sent me there for a reason. Hello. And I had not cleared my money issues then. And so I'm like, screw it. I'm here. I'm just going to do it. Oh my God. It was life-changing. It was life-changing. And at the end, it came to me like, why didn't you trust where we sent you? We sent you there for a reason,
Right.
And it was like, at the end of the day, all these things are being done for us that we are like fighting. Another example, in Greece, when I went to Greece, there were these pair of linen pants and they were $80. I'm like, oh no, too much. So the whole time I'm thinking about the stupid pants, right? And then what I heard was, we created that for you. And we created that for you. And you just went like, I don't want that. And I was like, oh shit. So the next day I went and I got them for $80. I was like, I don't care. So it's like, this reality is being created for you. It's being created specifically for you. And here we are like, oh, I don't like it. Oh, like too much money or whatever. And it's like,
But how do you get to that point of trusting? Because, obviously, I know the drill, but, you know, obviously you've done it so often that you started really trusting it. So, what was the point where you could say to yourself, I'm trusting this process now? This is my higher self, angels, whatever it is that is guiding you. I can trust that over my rational brain, right? That is constantly yapping in your, well, not in your ear, but in your head, um, to be fearful and to doubt. And so, what was the point for you that you surrendered to that voice, and to that trust?
well, I have to say that the last and the most hardest has been the money will be there if you trust.
Right.
And what I realized is, as I see my bank account going down, I either do something about it and trust, or it's not gonna be pretty because it's gonna go down and it's not gonna come back.
Right.
So, right, it's almost like I'm at that level where it's like, well, it's now or never, jump.
Right.
So I decided to jump one last time and level up and just trust. And that's been, I think the kicker was that either do something about it or it's not going to be pretty. And
Right.
I decided to do something about it because I don't want the tower moment to happen again. I don't want it.
I think part of the reason we fight the things like the linen pants and the experience for $30 is it doesn't look the way that we expect it to look, because our knowledge in our brains is so limited, but we've only been taught to focus on what the brain is telling us. We're never taught how to develop our intuition or to listen to our hearts or listen to our guts. Really, I mean, those are terms that are kicked around, but we're never really taught how to do it. We're only taught how to use our brains. And really, our brains are not only the most manipulated, but they are the most targeted, because they are easily manipulated. It's very easy through fear and all of that to manipulate somebody's brain. So we actually have to fight ourselves in thinking that we know best at all times. That is that lack of being able to give up control. We can't give up control because we always know best. We know what it's supposed to look like. We know where the direction that we're going. And sometimes the universe is tugging us and going, no, it's over here and it looks like this. Or we're like, no, that's not what I had in mind.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the key. You said it, and it looks like this, but it doesn't look like this because you're manifesting from a different place. So it's never going to look like this. The past doesn't exist. So your rational mind, your computer appears going, based on past events, blah, blah, blah. No, it's now moment is now. Like it doesn't. We are, as our vibration rate rises, we are manifesting from a different place. So the only reason you keep manifesting the same outcome is because you have that belief. Oh, this happened last time, so this is going to happen again. But it's not. But because you believe it, it does.
Right. Plus, we also come from a programming where lack is normal. Bad luck is normal. Yeah,
Survival.
things. Yeah, everything. Yeah, we're so programmed to always be in a survival mode. Although I do know people that don't have that at all, but they literally
Panda bears.
Yeah, they're skipping through life like nothing, and I'm like, I don't know what have I done wrong, but it's literally that a lot of us come from this part of lack, and we're not good enough.
The past.
Yeah, that's the past. But to set yourself a new mindset in, I'm abundant, everything can come to me and I deserve it, even if I say it out loud, right? It feels like, yeah, but wait a minute. Right?
Yeah.
Patricia, it's not that it's coming to you. You are it.
Right.
You are the projector into the reality. You project everything in your reality. So therefore the abundance comes from you. You're not looking for it. It's not out there. Everything is in you.
Right. Yeah, it's like the Matrix, like the movie The Matrix. And I did experience that as well with the whole money issue, because I was constantly like on the verge of panic, right? I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And now I'm like, you know what? Don't care. And what do you know? Things just start. It's obviously I'm not making a lot of money, but at least I don't lack anymore to the point where I can't eat anymore. For example, I don't have that. And the less I worried about it, the more easier it becomes. I do have that experience now, and I do like that. I'm just not going beyond it yet. Like saying, oh, I could just travel the whole world because, I can. It doesn't matter if I have the money or not. It will just come to me when I need it. And yeah, that's when my head will interfere.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're also assuming, and you have a belief that you need money to do it, and my mentor has given us examples of a woman that wanted to travel the world, and she was a photographer, and she reached out to some company that does travel, and she's like, I'm going to take these pictures for you in exchange for the travel, and they said yes, and now she travels the world for free.
Wow.
So the sky is the limit. Like it's
true.
It's
That's so true, because even if there's something that you do not expect to come in, right? So I need to make money, whatever, and then all of a sudden something unexpected happened, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But like you said, just like this woman, she didn't need her own money for that. She found a solution to have it paid for her, and the same was for me at a certain point that. Um, yeah, I needed something, and I was like, "Oh, am I going to do that?" And poop! All of a sudden, there was money in my account because I owed it from some tax payback, which I totally didn't know about, and I got it back, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So it can come from such an unexpected source that you don't think about, because we're in the head, and so we think we can already do it for the universe, think for ourselves like, yeah, but that's not possible, because you know and then it
yep,
turns out it actually can.
It's
yeah.
really hard to make that switch though. When it's happening for you and you're kind of on a roll, then you're like, okay, yeah, I can do this. But it's that switch from the one extreme to the other that is really hard to make that leap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
again, the knowing for me, the knowing that it's me and it's all me and it's all created by me and it's I am the one who creates it, made it easier
Mm.
for me to know that I'm not looking for anything, that it's all within me and I have the power to create whatever I want to create.
There's a saying, I was reading it kind of recently, and it's kind of like, I'm going to completely butcher this, but it's something along the lines of writing down the problem is halfway to solving it, or more than halfway to solving it, or something. And it basically is saying that getting very clear on what the problem is kind of half the battle. Well, getting very clear on what you want is the same way, because honestly, I think if you handed most people a piece of paper and a pen and you said, write down exactly what you want your life to look like, people would struggle with that. And maybe that's part of the problem. Part of the reason that their life is being held back and stuck in this place is because the universe doesn't even really know what you want, because you don't know
Right.
what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I'm there. I think I'm there right now. I mean, I don't know if you ask me. I mean, I want my son to be happy, healthy, and thriving. All my hopes and dreams are wrapped up in him. There's really nothing that I want for myself other than for him to be okay and for him to thrive. And, I want him to have a happy mom too, but I don't really want anything for myself. I'm sure that I do, but I just,
Well, are you free? Do you have
I mean,
freedom?
in some ways I obviously, yeah, but in some ways I don't feel free, because there's this part of me that um like, I know I want more. There's something in there that wants more, but I can't really put a face on it. I can't really say what it is that I want, you know?
Yeah. But
Right.
you want more freedom. You know that you want to be able to come and go as you please and spend the money that you want to spend without thinking about it.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to just be able to look around my life and be and um feel like everything is okay.
And what makes it not okay? Or is it okay?
I don't know. I don't even know, and I don't even know why I'm getting emotional right now, because now we're talking about me, and I don't want to do that. But for you seem so clear on, you are at a place in your life right now where you want to be. Like, for you, I don't know if I feel like it's very rare for a person to be able to look around their life and say that they're happy where they are.
Well, and that's why I've been told that I am the bridge from 3D to 5D, that I'm supposed to show people my life because of what I have achieved. And I try to do that as much as I can on TikTok and YouTube, but um
Yeah, and I
it's
agree. I did learn so much from you, Elisa. And every time I struggled, I just had to call you, and you were like, within 5 seconds, with one question, you would just, change my whole mindset. Um, while I was going in circles in my head. And yeah, that's really special. You do have that in you in a way that, well, clearly me and Kate are still struggling with.
What?
Well, it's funny because I've been thinking of just doing like a consulting type of thing where people, I can do like video calls or just regular phone calls where I try to show people what limiting beliefs are holding them back. And so I've been thinking of maybe doing something like that because I do miss connecting with people, when you have a lot of free time like I do. I do miss with the hypnosis sessions. I always loved the part where I got to talk to people before the hypnosis. So I'm like, well, maybe now I can do that and help people understand what beliefs are holding them where they are, how they can get to my life.
You totally should, because people don't have a lot of examples of someone like you who's like, I mean, obviously, every person might still have more to do and more dark night of the souls to come, but you are in a place where you are truly happy, and that really gives somebody something to focus on, to be like, here is somebody who's actually done it.
Right.
I think you should really do that.
Well, thank you. Maybe I will.
Yeah, and I love how you're just like, I want to go there, and boom, she goes. And you went to Bosnia, to the pyramids, and
Wow.
and now you're going to Romania and to Göbekli Temple. What you call that?
Göbekli Tepe.
Yes. So,
So
you
cool.
just, and I remember some years ago, you were like, you know what? You went from that RV where you went in a panic. I remember it well. And then getting that other house, and you were like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to travel the whole world. That's what I want. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what you did. And I was like stunned by it because, you did it so incredibly quick. While I was still crawling over the floor with my panic attacks. Now, obviously, you had them as well in the process, but you still kept going. Like, obviously it was a hurdle, but you were just like, okay, hurdle done and moving on. And I'm like, I'm still with my brain at 3 hurdles ago, right? And I don't know how you do it. It's amazing.
It's what helped was when I realized this was a video game and we're doing it over and over and over again. And I'm just like, what do I have to lose? It's a freaking video game. Like,
right.
Who cares? Like, just do it. Just do it. Just stop overthinking and just do it. So
I guess a lot of it is being present with it. And maybe me and Kate tend to be more going into this this in the mind, so you're not in the now moment, you're not in the present, you're rather just being lived instead of living, whereas you literally trained yourself to constantly be in the present, and as soon as you do catch yourself off guard, you immediately take action to it. And I found that amazing. I wonder, is it discipline? Is it a mindset? What is it?
meditation.
Yeah,
I
you
went
do
to
a lot
a
of
10-day
meditation.
silent retreat. 10-day silent retreat. No phone, no nothing.
Ooh.
No, you couldn't talk to people. You couldn't, nothing. And it was amazing.
Oh, you did that? I
Yeah.
can't remember that.
Yeah. I just did it like in May, I think. Yeah.
I literally have to just sew my mouth in order not to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would. Patricia would be like, I think I could do that. I think I could definitely. Well, I don't know. I being around people and not talking. I could certainly sit in my house and not talk to people for, I don't know. Give me.
Oh yeah, I
7
can
years.
do that too.
But
But
being
my
around other
mind
people.
goes, right? You're talking in your mind constantly. It makes me think of Absolutely Fabulous, where they go on a silent retreat and they can't shut up. That would be me.
There's a video I saw recently, and it's like a boyfriend and girlfriend, I think, and the guy's like, I bet you can't do this. And he's just sitting there and he's like standing. So she like goes and she mimics his body language and she's looking at him and she's like, I can do it. And he's like, and she's like, what? Oh, my hand's here. Oh, wait, no. What do you mean? I can do it. I'm doing what you're doing. And what he meant was, I bet you can't just stand here silently. And she's going through her mind like all the things. Well, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? What are we doing? So it's just cute. But I wonder if it's almost like a sensory deprivation tank where the more silence that you're surrounded with, the more the inner thoughts kind of explode and
Well, that was the idea. Yeah, that was
Okay.
the idea. The idea was, what's at the end of all my thoughts? Like I figured
Oh.
for 10 days, I can have all the thoughts and then finally they would stop because I already had them. So it was like, what's at the end? Like what exists at the end, you know?
Right.
So,
Interesting.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
interesting that we have the same thoughts probably over and over and over, and we get taken away, because life is distraction. And then we go back to doing those same patterns. But if you don't have those distractions and you get to kind of more clearly see the pattern that your brain rolls through, I guess it would become a little bit clearer. I
Yeah.
always thought too that it's very interesting that meditation, part of the reason that meditation is so difficult is because we have human needs and we have all of these sensory things. Like if you didn't have to pee, if you didn't have to eat, if you didn't hear the doorbell, if you didn't, all of the things about being a human is what makes meditation really hard. All of those distractions that kind of pull you away from it. And that exercise is, I'm not very good at meditation. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I just learned about meditation that, you shouldn't treat it like, oh, I'm going into this meditation for an hour and after that my life continues. It should be that you bring that meditation within your life, which is meditation is all about feeling and being in the body and and being present instead of being in the head. And I do have to admit, when I did a lot of meditation, I was so much better off than when I didn't. It's finding the discipline to do it, though. And I know you're a lot in nature right now, Elisa, and you're going to the beach every day and you're doing your meditations every day. And yeah, you're just more disciplined than me and Kate. But it does pay off,
It
right?
does. It does. It has. It does and it has for sure. I mean, it's a much peaceful life, which means a higher vibration, which means, I mean, just just doing that raises your vibration. I mean,
Mhm.
that alone should be good enough reason. I mean, your vibration is your frequency, your currency. Your vibration is your currency and it creates your life. So it should be more important than anything, even like your child, Kate. I put my vibration ahead of all of that. Why? Because if I have a good vibration, then my children will be okay. Then,
Mm.
it's all falls below that. So your vibration is literally for me is like the key to everything else in your life.
That's
It's
an interesting one that you said, because you said your vibration is the currency.
yeah.
So if we are in a game, right? And where you get levels, like life levels, right? And in this case, it's like vibration levels. So you're literally playing life like you're in a game. And that
And
makes
it's
a
working.
difference.
And it's working.
And it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one to absolutely stand still by, because and ponder, because you know I mean, the movie The Matrix talks about exactly this, and you got that thing down. you know you literally, it's not like, oh, money is my currency. No, my vibration is my currency. And being in a focus and being in the now and doing meditations, and that's your priority in everything. And I do believe that is a mindset rather than discipline, because once you get to understand that game, um you I guess this is why it goes so well for you, because you have been doing this for quite some time and you've never went back into into the matrix,
No.
if we have to call it that.
The slavery job? No. Mm-mm.
Right.
How long has
Wow.
it been?
Since COVID.
Yeah.
Since COVID. So 2019?
Yeah.
2020.
2020. Yeah. Well,
Or
19 is right.
It was actually halfway 2020 because that's when I started 2020 my YouTube, and so we met after, and that's when you were like in the middle. You were just divorced, I believe.
Well, COVID
So
started, the first official case was November 2019 here in the US, right? And then it was like
oh,
all of
was
2020.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, then
I'm so bad with years, especially now. I don't know if time's getting weird. I'm just getting old, whatever. But time is just so weird to me now. 10 years, like you could ask me something. I don't know if it was last month or 4 years ago. I don't know the difference between 2020, 2023. Like it's just weird. And lately too, I feel like timelines are just slipping around like crazy. Like one day, I don't know, it just things are changing in an instant. And yeah, I'm like getting seasick by all of this energy shifting.
right.
Like even today, I think part of the reason I'm just like I'm emotional today just has a very weird feeling to me. And I don't know if that's just me. I know a lot of people feel like that lately every once in a while, and we don't all feel it at the same time. But there is a lot of weird energetic stuff.
Yes, I had that yesterday. I was crying all day. Didn't know
Really?
why. Yeah, I was just looking at something, crying, and I'm like, what is this? It's exactly what you say. The time is shifting, a lot is shifting, but then also the collective. Although I'm not too much influenced by the collective, as people worry about wars and stuff and that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm busy enough as is. um and it just passes me by. Another thing is like not being on X. Definitely throws me in a depression if I get on X a lot.
Mm. You got to
So
be careful what you spend your time looking on, because it will now my feed is all animals and like interesting videos, because that's all I spend my time. If something looks like it's going to be
yeah,
negative or whatever, I flip right by it.
yeah, me too. I choose not to be in that atmosphere anymore because I know how much it impacts me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I had to put a thing on it to like 1 hour and that's it. It turns like it closes Facebook, it closes and when it says 1 hour time limit and that's it. It's a setting on the phone that you can put
Oh,
uh and it's helped me a lot.
yeah, but you can
character.
you can set the setting off. That would be me, right? And I'm like, yeah, wait a minute, just
I
five
know.
minutes.
I always marvel at people that are like, well, I tell myself if I accomplish the thing, then I get to get a bowl of ice cream or whatever it is that their reward is. I'm like, yeah, but I am a grown ass woman. I'm just going to go get the ice cream. Like I have discipline in some ways, but like those incentives that people give themselves, like, oh, I'm going to reward myself if I do the thing.
Yes.
I'm like, but I can still just do the thing. There's nothing stopping me from doing the thing. So it doesn't work for me. I wish it did.
Yeah, I try that, and in certain instances it does, but in a lot of them not, because I'm like, no, I'm feeling like this. I'm always like a petulant child, really. It's like, no, I'm feeling like this. I'm gonna do that now. No matter the consequences. In fact, I don't even think about the consequences until afterwards, and then you're like back in the gutter again, and you're like, oh, you know, I fucked that up. And then
Yeah,
you feel guilty again, and the whole freaking cycle starts again. So, yeah, we can take a very good example from Elisa,
right.
who, he's just doing it. And I guess, yeah, you just set your priorities straight, Elisa.
Yeah, my vibration. That's my priority, period. End of
So
Right.
does
story.
that include like what you eat and drink and all of that? What do you do other than meditation and spending time in nature?
I do intermittent fasting, so I eat like at 11 and
Yeah.
5, 6 o'clock, And then I eat, eggs and fruits and vegetables. I'm plant-based, except for the eggs. Sometimes I'll eat shrimp if I feel like I need protein, but I'm not a big fan of it. But what else? The people around me are very important. So I do not have anybody that's low vibrational around me. And if they make me feel low vibrational, I will, like, you know, um, I will step away from the person. And so I guard my vibration. It's too important because it creates my reality. So if it creates my reality, I'm going to guard it. And so I guard it with anybody around me, or doing, like Bashar says, follow your highest excitement. So what is my highest excitement? Oh, I want to go to yoga. Oh, I want to go here. I want to go there. Just doing what makes me happy in that now moment is how I'm living my life now. And so always, always, always keeping in mind that my vibration is the most important. So if I'm feeling off, I do try to sit down and just calm myself and just get back to that place. Because once you allow the 3D life to get into you, it's really hard to get back to what I call the 5D. So I try to stay up here and not allow anything to
Pull you
affect.
down.
Do you still have bad days sometimes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I am more kind to myself. I'm more compassionate with myself. I am more loving with myself. I am learning to be a divine feminine, which is something, I was always like, go, 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 do, do, do. Like, don't stop until it's done, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, no, the feminine will stop and be gentle and take a break. And how do I feel? Like, how I feel is super important. So before I wasn't in the divine feminine, I wasn't stopping to see, how do I feel? No, it was like, no, get it done. Get it done. Like, even if I feel like I'm fearful or whatever, it was like I wasn't giving myself that compassion, that time to sit down, just.
Right. I think you had touched on this earlier, maybe, Elisa. But the shadow side of the self, we were kind of talking about, these things come from the past. A lot of this stuff comes from our childhood. What we learned were the things that were going to maintain survival for us, and what were the things that threatened our survival. And you pick those cues up from typically your family when you're growing up. Whatever they nurture in you, whatever they support, whatever they praise you for, are the things that you learn to develop. And the things that they criticize or tell you can't be like, whatever, are the things that you shove down into your shadow side. Those things are still a part of you, but if they are not integrated in who you are, then they are going to rear their ugly heads every once in a while, and you're going to have conflict within you. And so a lot of that divine feminine stuff, that was a term that I wasn't even interested in looking into what that meant, because that just sounded like feminism to me.
Yeah.
It sounded like a bunch of hoo-ha, free bleeding weirdness. And then when I started to read books on the divine feminine, and I started to get it more. And those parts of us that even as little girls might be nurtured for a little while, eventually you reach this point where you get trained into focusing more on those masculine things, like you're saying, to go get things, to, be a businesswoman, or to go make money, or to go out in the world and, whatever it is. And you are no longer trained in how to not just protect your softness, but to really make it a part of, like, lead with it, because there is a difference about being, and men have female sides too. They also, we have masculine sides just like they have feminine sides.
Yes.
It's all about in integrating it. But like, I am very masculine in a lot of things, probably because of the way that I was brought up, and to learn how to have that different kind of strength that is feminine. It is strength, just like males have strength. In fact, in some ways it's a lot stronger, but it's a very different kind of strength.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's something that I have been working on as well, is bringing in the feminine side, because I used to hate the color pink. And I used to, like, when women drove bad, I was like, oh, that must be a woman driving. That's horrible driving. That must be a woman. And then one day I was like, wait, why am I so against, I'm a woman. What is going on here? So I had to really sit down and kind of look back at, where did this come from? Where is this women are weak thing coming from? And then I realized, and it's funny because I did that video on TikTok and it went viral, and it was like, it's got over like 111,000 views on TikTok. And it was why you might hate the color pink. And it was about being
I
a
remember
masculine.
that. I was just going I was just going to talk about this because we talked about it on the phone, and my mom bought me a scarf in pink, and I freaking hate pink. And we were talking about exactly that. So can you talk about it again?
Yeah. So what I realized was I hated the color pink, anything with pink. And again, I would always put down women when something was going wrong. It's like, oh, that must be a woman. And then one day in Australia, I was like, what's going on? Like, you're not born hating pink, okay? You're just not born that way. So I'm like, what is this? Where's this coming from? And I realized that as a child, I thought it was my dad, but come to find out after talking to my mom, it was my mom. But anyway, I blamed it on my dad on the video. And it was like, the toxic masculinity in Panama, women were like, like the one that cooks and the one that stays home and the one that they're like the weaker, the men are the gatherers and the hunters and the blah, blah, blah. And so I started seeing women as weak. And my mom was very much of the feminine movement that came along, where women were independent, which actually was a psyop, so that women would leave the family and whatever. Anyway. And so I realized, oh my God, this is a subconscious belief I have that women are weak. And I'm not weak. Right? I'm not weak, so I'm not wearing pink. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if somebody said, you're such a princess, I would get so pissed off. It was like, I'm not a princess, and it's like, wait, what? Why do I hate that? Like, what? So it was about just digging and going within and understanding, like, where is this coming from? Women are so powerful, and that's why they've been pushed down. So,
sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the whole feminist movement was about pushing women into male characteristics. You're going to take on, the male part of strength instead of embracing and celebrating the female strength. One of the movies that I bring up all the time, because I think it really depicts it well, the movie Steel Magnolias, especially when she's talking about how when her daughter is dying, her husband and her son are like in and out of the hospital room. They can't stand to be, this is just too sad. This is too devastating for them. They're out. She's the one in there holding her hand and staying vigilant. And, that kind of strength. She's like, I was there with her in the moment she was born, and I was there the moment she died. And there is a very different kind of strength that women, I think, don't get enough credit for. The hardest times of my life, especially recently, it's been the women who have been my strength and taught me so much about how to get through this. Not that I haven't had wonderful men as well who want to help and they do what they can in their own way, but that female strength is something that is very unique and powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason we became more manly was, it was more of taking control so that our lives would so that we could control what we could to, be happy, right?
Mm.
And so I was always very independent, and I just didn't want my mom to leave me again. So it was like this, this thing of just wanting to control so that the same thing wouldn't happen again. Yeah, so that was another thing that that came to me as well, was healing the divine feminine, how we need to raise the divine feminine. Now this is what's coming. We're going back to a matriarchal society, and it's time for women to be women, not to be masculine women. It's a time for compassion, for gentleness, for kindness, for love, for taking a break, for taking a pause, for dealing with things in a different way.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
when you're talking right now, I am realizing there has been this movement, right? We cannot deny this movement that people have been waking up, and a lot of it has been very information heavy. We're focused on the information war, and a lot of it is around politics and all of that stuff, all of these very masculine things. And we've been led by a lot of really masculine voices, even some of the women. It's not that they're masculine themselves and that they look like men, but like the way that they're coming at this spiritual war is coming from a very masculine place. And right now I feel like we're in this very weird shift. And from what I'm seeing, are all the people around me, everyone's just kind of like, okay, what now? What are we moving into? What is this golden age that we keep talking about and hearing about? What does that look like? Because people are getting very jaded with the information sharing. They're getting very jaded with watching the politics and all of that. And it really is, I think, because I don't think we're being led into a female dominant portion. I think we're being led into a balanced portion, but that is going to look severely more feminine than what we have been in, because the pendulum had swung so far in that direction. But I am seeing more women start to emerge, and I am seeing more men that are tapped into these female kinds of strengths start to emerge. And that's where people are starting to put their focus. I think they're really done kind of watching everybody like, oh, remember when I was right about this, and I'm going to analyze this political, situation, whatever. Not that that stuff isn't still interesting, but I think that like right now, this kind of standstill that I'm seeing is potentially this shift in where we're going to be focusing. And I think that the female parts of the awakening are going to be more prominent.
Yeah, there's a certain softness coming in now. And I've noticed this myself as well. Well, it started with actually the whole pink realization for me, exactly the same as Elisa. And I was like, that's why I hate pink, because I associate it with weakness. And that was such an eye opener. And so I started working with that more and more. And now, as in the past 2 months, when I had this DMT session, and then I had a 21-day detox. And God, I went through it also there, but a lot of emotions came out. I started crying a lot, which at first I would stop myself if I would cry. And now I was like, just let it go. Let's calm it out. And so my friend was on holiday, and Angela, and she comes back and she goes like, oh my God, you're so much more softer. And obviously I don't see it because it happens every day a little bit, but she was gone for 2.5 weeks, and she literally felt it and she heard it. And she said, you turned so much softer and more, I don't know, more softer towards yourself as well, not being as harsh anymore. And it's true. And I feel that myself as well. And I'm trying to embrace that. Absolutely, because in fact, I start to like it now. Whereas before, I was so much harsher. And there was always anger, the masculinity, blah, blah, blah. But in a way, that was also my biggest enemy, I notice now.
Well, I think part of it is that feminine energy is the creative energy. We are creating what is to come next. And so that's why we need to be more in that headspace. Like, instead of dragging ourselves back into what happened or analyzing things that are going on, focusing on what it is that we want, just like we were talking about before, in our own lives. What is it that we want? What do we want the world to look like? What would the golden age, if we could write a page on what the golden age looked like, what would that be? And how do we create it? How do we expect it?
Yeah, I think it's also getting into the world with more empathy instead of the ego
Mm-hmm.
and the harshness and the constantly criticizing. More gratitude is another one, by the way, next to meditation, which I'm starting to. Obviously, I heard about it for years, but applying it is a whole different matter. And so I'm trying now every day to find something that I'm grateful for, and
It's big.
it works. Actually, it does
It
do.
does. That's one of the
It does.
other reasons I'm here too. Is that every day I can show you my journals. I am great. 10 minutes. I would put the timer. I'm grateful for blah. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for. I'm great. And every day, 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes
Oh,
morning and night.
Oh, wow.
wow. I need to implement that as well, as in, yeah, because I've got plenty of journals. They're all empty though. So there you go. Got space to write in it. But I do it in my head now, but you're right, it needs to be in a journal because then um, it's different when you start writing it down. It's not that you have to read it back, it's the fact that you take the effort to write it down instead of having a thought, which is a split second.
Mm-hmm.
um, Whereas the writing down process is a lot more conscious.
Well,
Yes.
but interestingly, it's also subconscious. You are communing directly with your subconscious when you write things down in handwriting. So there is a two-way flow of energy. When you write something down in handwriting, you are speaking directly from and to the subconscious mind. And that's why you want to write in cursive. You don't want to print, because you are talking to the subconscious mind. If you're printing down just letters, it's kind of like everything gets just shoved in there and jumbled, and then the subconscious has to make sense of it
Sense.
later on.
Yeah.
So full words, obviously make it a little bit easier to piece together, but that's also why they say to write things down in affirmative ways rather than saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, this is what I want to stay away from, because those words are just going into your subconscious as well. You want to be writing down the words that you want to attract, not the ones that you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they
Yep.
say also the universe doesn't understand the word not and don't. So if you're going to put it, it always will be a positive, affirmative. Like, I don't want to feel lonely. You're actually saying, I want to feel lonely, because the word
Right.
don't and not is not being registered, um, apparently.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
I don't know if you guys have read the book The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, but I would highly suggest, if you have not, the book is actually a workbook. It's not even really a book. Now it's very religious, and that was yuck for me because I'm not religious, um, but the important part is she makes you realize how you have to be thankful for all the bills that you pay. So one day
Mm.
is like you're writing down, thank you for this bill and that bill and blah blah blah. And then another day's thanking the people that have hurt you, thanking them. I mean, it's like, so it's just literally 28 days of thankfulness in the whole way, the good and the bad and the ugly, all of it. Thankful for all of it. And that book is huge, huge, huge,
Mm.
huge.
okay, let's set the challenge that we're going to do, um, a 28-day gratefulness.
Well, let's do the month of August. We've got one more day left in July. And yeah, let's set the intention for the month of August to do this gratitude journaling. And
Yeah.
I have my little Dark Night of the Soul workbook that I started and never finished. So maybe I'll start working on that as well. My
All right.
shadow side. What did I say?
Dark Night of the Soul.
Yeah, it's like a shadow workbook.
Well, that's a good idea. So who's in the chat? Put your hands up if you're in, And then we're going to check in at the end of August again, how it's going with the thankfulness. Because, at least when you do it all together, you have kind of, you feel like you're not alone, and you're like, yeah, whatever, next day, 2 days, I'm going to skip today because, I can. But if you're together, doing it all together, it feels more like, a challenge to do.
Right. And that we can come back here and discuss it and see kind of where everybody is. And even if you're not, participating in the chat, you can listen in and, see if it did anything for us.
Yeah. Well,
It will,
divining rod is in,
I
future
promise.
eclipse is in.
And you can thank for future things. Well, she covers that on there. So you can thank for let's say you want a brand new car with blah, blah, blah. Thank you for the brand new blah, 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 and get
What
detailed. The more
what was
detailed,
the book? What was the book? So we write
it's called The Magic. The Magic.
The Magic from
Rhonda Byrne, the one that wrote The Secret.
I was wondering, okay, so The Secret is a whole other rabbit hole. And, these things, I mean, really, what?
I didn't read it, so I don't know.
Oh, you didn't? So, I mean, I read it back in the, whatever it was, the days when Oprah was recommending it or whatever, and it was really massive. And it's interesting because manifesting is a very nuanced thing, I think. And some of it, there's a lot of, it's a tool like anything else, where there can be positive aspects of it, there can be dark aspects of it. That book in particular, I kind of didn't love because I feel like it was more focused on, well, I don't know, that can be a whole other show, but the Secret is just about pure manifestation. And I do think that there's some of that is like, you can force some of these things into your life, but like you were saying, if your vibration is your currency, make sure you have the currency to back it up. You don't want to trade one problem for another, which I think which can happen. So you want to make sure that you have the currency, make sure your karma is clear, make sure you're out there you can't just go out there and treat people terribly and bring good things into your life and expect to keep them and have it not blow up in your face, because you can exploit people. You can do all kinds of things. You can actually manifest things in your life. But the thing is that as soon as you start creating that negative karma, it's already slipping away, whether you see it or not. So I think there is this balance. I mean, it is like currency. Like you said, there are deficits. There are times you get paid, and there are times that you're going to pay, just depending on what it is that you're putting out in the universe.
Right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I think we should, definitely do that. Also, thank you, Sean Joe, for the cookie in Pilt. And Mr. So, don't know what name that is, but funny. Just wanted to say that for a sec. Just seeing so many people in the chat.
I'm over on Pilled as well. I love the gifts and everything over there. Elisa, will you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. On YouTube is Quantum Healing of the Soul, Elisa Herrera, which you see here on the screen. But on TikTok and Instagram, I am not as regular on Instagram because it's a pain to post there and I hate it. But on TikTok and Instagram, it's Elisa Herrera from Era. So I think I can put it here.
Yeah, I was just looking for
Yeah, if you can put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm trying to find it so I can put it in the chat for you.
I have the YouTube link, so I'll start putting that.
Okay.
I wonder if I
don't
do.
have Elisa Herrera from Era. Era is a planet in the Pleiades. So
because I don't have the TikTok myself, because I didn't want another app that I can doom scroll on.
Yeah, so
that's a bad one too.
I'm kind of moving some things to Instagram, but not all the time, just because I'm
So
not a big
what is
fan of like, is it a story? Is it a feed? Is it a blah, blah, blah? And it's like,
so what is it like for you on TikTok? Just a side note.
what do you mean?
No, what is it like? I mean, because you're posting there, right? And you get a lot of views.
Yeah, so it's gone really fast for me. You know,
Right.
yeah, it's gone really fast for me. It's in like 3 months, 4 months. I don't really know how long I've been there. And it's I've got like maybe 750 followers, 800, something like that. But consistently 800 people look at my videos. And then I have that one video that went viral. So
Oh wow. But you
yeah,
do get a lot of
that one video that went viral.
oh sorry, that's me. But you get a lot of views there. But not it's
Not
different
on,
than for
not
example.
on YouTube. I don't know what YouTube is about. I posted the video that got 111,000 in TikTok on YouTube and it got 80 views.
That's why what I'm wondering, how do you get so many views on a TikTok versus, for example, a Instagram or a YouTube?
Well,
Yeah.
supposedly the TikTok algorithm is really good. They are really good at matching people up with the content they want to see. Whereas I think YouTube is a little bit more politicized as far as they're just going to push whatever it is that they want you to see. So
Right.
that could be some of it. I really don't know. I haven't played around with TikTok. I haven't posted anything on there. And the one time I went on there to look at something, it was just a time suck. I went through this wormhole and I was like, it was like
Oh
an
yeah.
hour later. And I'm like,
Yeah, I go in, I post, and I get out. Like I
flush.
literally don't follow anybody. I have like two people I follow, and that's it. And literally in and out. I do not allow it to get me in there. I will not allow
Yes.
it. But you know why I went there? Because I noticed that in order for me to reach the people my son's age, who is 24, 22, 20, well, my youngest is 22. I was like, this is the only way to reach them. I can't reach them through Facebook. I can't reach them through YouTube. I can't reach them through Instagram. He was only using TikTok. And I was like, so my daughter is Instagram, my son is TikTok. And I'm like, how do I reach these audiences? And so that's why I was like, screw it. I'm going to do TikTok because I have to
Right.
get my word out. I know my job, my mission is to get the word out. How do I live my life? So I was like, screw it. I'm going to do it. And that's what I do.
Great.
It's awesome. 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 You are just amazing. And you are an inspiration. And I want to be more like you. And
Oh,
I
thank
want
you.
to be happy. And I'm so happy that you shared your story. And I hope that other people are feeling as inspired as I am right now. And I hope you guys will also join us in this month of August and journaling our gratitude and following your lead, protecting our vibration when we go out in the world and expecting good things to happen to us.
Absolutely. And be a creator. Okay, everybody. When you wake up in the morning, you state what kind of day you're going to have. Create, create, create. Don't allow the simulation to give you whatever. You wake up and you say, you know, I hate chemtrails. So I wake up and I'll be like, I'm going to see blue skies today. I'm going to see blue skies. I'm going to have an awesome day. If I go to play pickleball, I'm going to see the ball and I'm going to, you know, win every game or whatever it is that I want. Like, I set my day and I make sure that I am a creator. So you please become a creator and stop being a victim of the simulation as it is. Take your power back.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. Patricia, do you have anything to add before we scoot?
No, I just want to thank Elisa for being here and telling her story and being such an inspiration. And yeah, I maybe we can see you back again in maybe we can talk about something, completely different in another show. Who knows? But yeah, we definitely get together as always. And yeah, I want to thank everybody in the chat. And yeah, it was great. On
Yes.
to the next.
Yes. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great day. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.